Hey everyone, this is quite a cool lab. In this hands-on lab, we are going to learn about how can you migrate on-premises application to Azure App Services. So first we are going to validate some of the applications which is hosted on-premises, and then we are going to use some of the commands and Azure Migrate services to migrate that to Azure App Services. Then post that, we are going to learn about what are the additional things which we can do within the Azure realm to test the load or do the insights or understand how the application is performing and things like that. I hope you're going to enjoy this lab. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Let's go and launch the Internet Information Services Manager or IaaS Manager. Open the Internet Information Services Manager. On the left hand side, expand the sites. Here you can see that there are 4 applications already running. The first one is Blazor application. This is a .NET application. This is running on port 80. So let's click on browse. Let's launch that application. This is a sample application and this is running on port 80. Let's minimize this. The next one is MVC Music Store. This is again a .NET application. This is running on port 8081. Let's click on browse. You can see that it's a basic music store application, some catalog of information available for someone to go and purchase sample information for albums and stuff like that. Then we have the time tracker. This is a legacy .NET application and it is running on port 8080. So let's launch that. So looks like a legacy application. Somebody need to log in to get into the time tracker and stuff like that. And the last one is the default one. This is again a legacy .NET application using Windows authentication. So if you click on browse, it's running on 81. So you need to authenticate to Windows to log into that application. So these applications, what we have seen, are intended to demonstrate 3 scenarios. One example is we are going to use an application that is ready to be migrated to Azure App Service without no modification. Second, we use an example where an application is ready to be migrated but requires a minor modification to work properly on app services. Third, an application that is not ready to be migrated and requires a major modification to be migrated to Azure App Services. So in this particular lab, we are going to run a PowerShell script to conduct several baseline checks on the application running in IaaS. So when you do that, the script will generate a JSON file that tells us about the migration status of each application. Additionally, we are going to leverage Azure Migrate application and code assessment for .NET, which is going to allow us to access .NET code source, configurations and binaries of our application to identify migration opportunities to Azure. So for this lab, I have several scripts which I have put in the C drive. So these are the scripts we are going to use for this testing, and we are going to use PowerShell. So let's go and launch PowerShell. Type in PowerShell, right click, run as administrator, click yes. Let's go to the directory where we are keeping the scripts. So that is under C drive scripts. Hit enter. First, I'm going to run get site readiness PowerShell. This is basically to execute the application assessment script. So let's run that script. Alright, so to run this script, you need to trust it. To run once, I'm going to provide R, enter. Again, there is a security warning, run and run again. Alright, so you can see that the readiness checks complete. The readiness results outputted to readiness results.json, and we can look into the JSON for the results. Before that, let's look into the report. So first is report generated for the default site name. First and foremost, it couldn't check because of the authentication error for that particular site. The next is the reporter generated for the time tracker. And it says that no blocking issues found on this site and is ready to be migrated to Azure. Third is report generated for MVC Music Store and no blocking issue to be found and site is ready for migration to Azure. And finally, the report generated for Blazor and there is no blocking issue found and it's ready to move into Azure. And you can see that there is a couple of warnings for Time Tracker and MVC Music Store. That's because of the port issue. Now let's go and analyze these applications with Visual Studio. So let's go and launch Visual Studio. Before we go there, I just want to show you something. For this exercise, we already pre-prepared this to have the Azure Migrate Application and Code Assessment in the Visual Studio extension. So let me quickly show you how you can do that. So let's go to your Visual Studio, run as administrator. Yes. Within that, click on continue without code. And on the top ribbon, you can find extensions. I'm going to quickly close this. Click on extensions and click on manage extensions. Here you can search for Azure Migrate. You can see that Azure Migrate Application and Code Assessment, it's already installed. I can click on update. There is an update for it. So that's good. So this is how you can come in here, and if you don't have it and you are doing this in your lab, just do this particular task. That is going to download the Azure Migrate Application and Code Assessment. And when you close it, it is going to automatically install the changes what we have made. And to install it, click on modify, and that is going to update the Azure Migrate Application and Code Assessment. The modification is completed, so click on close. So now let's go and open the Visual Studio again. Right click, run as administrator, click yes. Within the Visual Studio, click on open a project or solution. And first let's open the music store, open the folder. Oh, it's under C. So let's go and find the folder, C apps, music store main, and let's open the app. It's preparing the solution and it's going to launch the application for us. So to refactor to Azure, so all we have to do is select the application within the Solution Explorer, right click, and you can see there is an option called Read Platform to Azure. So on the left hand side, you can see that the Azure Migrate Application and Code Assessment for .NET is ready for us to do the next steps. So either you can start a new report or open an existing report. So we're going to click on create new report and let's select Azure App Service Windows. So this is going to discover any sort of issues and incidents with the replatform to Azure App Service for Windows application. So you can see that there are other modules for Linux, container applications and things like that. So let's select Azure App Service Windows and click next and click next. And let's here in the analyze settings, just leave the default. If you want to add binary dependencies or custom settings, you can do that. We're going to just click on analyze and this is going to generate the compatibility report. All right. So in this generated report, you can see there are several alerts. You can see there are 2 mandatory alerts. I think that is to do with the Windows authentication incidents and other informations for your compatibility to do with modification and things like that. You can filter this based by project and you can look into these issues, incidents, and aggregated issues as well. And some of these databases are not available for this exercise, so we cannot migrate this. So let's go to the Visual Studio and let's go to the file, open. This time go and open project solution and let's see if we can open the Blazor app. So I know where it is residing. So it's under C, users, admin, sources, repos. So let's see if we can directly go to the folder first and let's open the project. We are not gonna do any modification changes, so no.